Has the short era of companies taking stands on the great issues of the day come to an end?
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by the Financial Times, whose pink pages fearlessly report on U.S. politics from a global perspective. There's more at FT.com. And by Rubrik. When cyber attacks put businesses at risk, Rubrik provides the power to bounce back fast. More at Rubrik.com.
I'm David Brancaccio in New York. 4 weeks from now, it'll be the morning after election night. This fall, we're looking at how companies intensify or ease political divides by taking sides, taking stands, and or bringing us together. Earlier in our Office Politics series, we heard from a CEO who energetically supports Donald Trump, as well as a company that fiercely supports getting people to vote for politicians who fight climate change. Today, how some organizations are going quiet when it comes to issues.
Benjamin Franklin believed we should live our lives in service to society.
It's a 4-year-old video from the admissions office at the University of Pennsylvania, referring to the guy who founded the place. But late this summer, Penn officials made it clear, no more public statements about socio-political matters. Quote, "It is not the role of the institution to render opinions." Deeply polarized responses to the Israel-Hamas war are central to this, but colleges are not alone in shifting into neutral, so different from the vibe of the last 5 years.
There was a real rise in CEOs speaking up and taking positions on everything from climate change to immigration to human rights.
NYU's Allison Taylor is head of the Ethical Systems think tank. But in this red versus blue hothouse, there are new risks. Take diversity in the workplace.
Tequila Herradura, extraordinary awaits.
The distiller of that tequila and Jack Daniel's whiskey, Brown-Forman, pulled back from diversity initiatives, Ford Motor and Lowe's Home Improvement as well. They're under pressure from conservatives using threats of legal action and the anthem, "Go Woke, Go Broke." Yet studies show many employees, often younger employees, don't want to work for companies that remain silent on key matters from structural racism to climate. And keeping politics in the brand can work, depending on the company.
Because people will see that fits with the brand, and that's who I want to spend my money with.
Eric Van Steenberg is a professor of marketing at the Jake Jabs College of Business at Montana State University.
For smaller companies, maybe a startup or a company that has began building its brand on something like they want to be the company of climate change or they want to be this company of entrepreneurship.
There's a mobile phone company that has long worn its conservative politics like a flag. Here's the chief operating officer of Patriot Mobile at a gathering of conservatives in June.
We are a cell phone service provider, and we're a really, really good one. But here's the deal. Our mission has everything to do with defending freedom and glorifying God.
When we tried to talk to Patriot Mobile about brands taking a stand, after an initial contact, the interview trail went cold. Over on Blue, there's a Wisconsin-based spice retailer, Penzeys, which sends emails to customers with deals on oregano or barbecue rub that also express unhappiness with Donald Trump. After federal charges were refiled against the former president in August, a Penzeys email read, "Re-indicted and it feels so good." As it happened, Kamala Harris went into a Penzeys in Pittsburgh ahead of the debate last month where she hugged a supporter who was apparently overwhelmed by the fraught election.
We're going to be fine. We are all in this together. Yes, we are.
That photo op sparked Go Woke, Go Broke comments aimed at Penzeys. Knowing nothing of the Harris visit to come, we had repeatedly reached out to Penzeys this summer to ask about brands and politics, but again, no response.
I'm not really terribly concerned with how companies tune up or down their communications in a toxic public square. I can hardly blame them.
Elsie Mayo runs Soul Branding, which helps brands align with their values.
We've come to pay less attention to what is said than what is actually done.
Practical action, like the real estate site Zillow, adding climate risk numbers to its home listings last month. In an essay 55 years ago, Nobel economist Milton Friedman argued that companies that go beyond profit to promote desirable social ends are preaching pure socialism. But Mayo says smart companies now understand they're part of a system that is not insulated from, say, climate or community, which requires them to act on their values to succeed.
That old system of Milton's is no longer fit for purpose in a hyper-interdependent systems environment, which is what we're in now.
Political polarization at the company level. Our election season project is called Office Politics, and the accumulating pieces are available at marketplace.org. Now, in the coming days, how some companies are doing trainings to keep their workers from going at each other during this time of fierce divisions.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business, aiming to help save time by offering smart business buying solutions so there's more time to focus on growing the business and less time doing the admin. More at AmazonBusiness.com. And by Affinity, provider of the CRM for the private capital relationship economy. Affinity knows who has the best relationship with the right startup. Affinity.co/marketplace.
Nearly a month into a strike, negotiations between aerospace giant Boeing and its West Coast union members have broken off. Each side is blaming the other. Here's Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer.
Boeing has withdrawn its latest contract offer. Yesterday, it issued a statement saying, quote, further negotiations do not make sense at this point. Boeing says it tried to compromise, offering increases in take-home pay and retirement. But the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers Union says Boeing won't move in its direction, accusing the company of being, quote, hell-bent on standing on an offer it made through the media in late September. Nonetheless, in its own statement, the union says it remains ready to continue talks with. In its own statement, the union says it remains ready to continue talks with Boeing. The company says it's committed to finding a resolution. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
Checking markets, I see Dow and S&P futures are each down 0.1%. NASDAQ futures are down 0.2%. Crude oil is down about 0.5%, $73.36 a barrel. The 10-year interest rate up this morning, 4.04%. Using Mortgage News Daily's calculation, the average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is at 6.62%, about 0.5% above where it was on the day the Federal Reserve supposedly cut interest rates last month. In New York, I'm David Brancaccio, Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.